How to stay down through the golf ball, like you're seeing all these top pros here, is a byproduct of 3 movements in the golf swing: backswing, transition, and then how the body moves going through the golf ball. If you don't do all these 3, you're always going to be a golfer who stands up coming through the golf ball with those awful results. So number 1, so important, staying tall as we turn up to the top of the backswing. Because what we see so many amateur golfers do, who really have that big stand up coming through the golf ball, is they'll be turning up to the top and they will be sinking down and down and down. Now, if you're sinking really low down to the ground in the backswing, you have to stand up coming through the golf shot. Because if you don't and you stay down, you're going to do that. You're going to chunk the hell out of the golf ball. So that's where, if we move down excessively in that backswing, you have to stand up to be able to raise the swing back out of the ground again. So this is why so many players who do try to stay down the golf ball either find it impossible or they hit the ball way worse. It's because they're moving down in that backswing. So we want to keep that height. I preferably like players to keep the exact same height they have it set up to the top of the swing, because then they can have the option of them moving down and staying on that golf ball and staying down and turning through. So really keeping that height is super, super essential. So a good little way to be able to get this into your golf swing. Now, I've got a really good drill to do also for this, but a feel is like you're doing something else that is not related to golf at all. And that is what we do with our body when we start a lawnmower. So when we start a lawnmower, we know we have this pulling movement with the trail arm. Don't do that in the golf swing, that would be awful. But what does the body do? Okay, I'm gonna do the trail arm movement, but look at the body. That's how we start a lawnmower. If we're starting a lawnmower in what most amateur golfers do wrong in the backswing, they're not really going to start that lawnmower too well. They're not going to be able to use that body to pull that cable and cord up. So if you ignore what the arm's doing and we have that body movement of starting a lawnmower, we're getting turn, but we're also staying in extension of the body as we do so. Absolutely brilliant. So again, disregard what the arms do for starting a lawnmower. Let's get that body feel. Start that lawnmower. That's going to keep you up higher. And that's going to make it able for you then to sink down and turn. So I've actually got 2 drills for golfers to do for this, to keep that height. So we've got our feel, absolutely starting the lawnmower, but get yourself up to a wall and stand with the wall. Let's say you have your head just touching it. And then what we want to do, we want to grip the club really, really low down and then have ourselves have a good backswing rotation and keep that head just nicely in a light contact of that wall. Because then if we start to go more down, our head's going to grate against the wall. Or even better, you can give yourself a little gap between the head and the wall, maybe 4 fingers of a distance away. And if we move down too much, the head will also move forward, you'll hit the wall. So it gives you that nice feeling. Okay, boom, really good there. Nice turn, great, awesome. You need that. You absolutely need it if you want to stay down through the golf ball. Because you might be thinking, okay, I really want to work on that downswing. No, backswing creates a downswing. So here we go. This is another way of working on it. A really good training aid here because it really isolates getting backswing rotation but extension as well. So it's the Shore set by JChownGolf. So what we do, see, it's got this kind of like 90-degree angle. It's got a good little grip trainer on it as well. But what we would do there, okay, we would want to, of course, get this touching our right pec, but then it isolates the body movement. You can really feel as you get up to a full backswing rotation with this, that you're creating good turn and extension of the body. If we're moving down, we're creating flexion, which you could very easily just completely either miss this on your right side. It's not going to attach to you and it's going to feel quite awful. So getting this to attach to your right pec, turn. So we want this attached to our right pec, preferably halfway back or even at almost completion of the backswing. Depends on the width we get, but it trains good width, good turn. Oh, really gives you a good stretch. But that's absolutely awesome as well to give you a feel, when there is a discount code to this in the video description also. So the second way to stay down through the golf ball is all about how the shaft moves in the start of the downswing. We want the shaft to move shallower. We don't need it to get crazy shallow. We just need it to start with that center of mass to start to pitch back in this direction, because that enables the body to continue to turn and stay down through the shot. Because what most amateur golfers do, they will steepen the shaft, it will stand up, the center of mass will pitch more in front of them. And then, let's say for example, they do stay down. What's that club gonna do? It's gonna tip out massively out in front and they're going to hit a terrible shot. So you would see a player from this position with a steep shaft have to stand up with the body, because that standing up with the body pitches the center of mass of the golf club back behind again. So shallows it later. So then that's how the body can hit a functional golf shot with that steep shaft. So if we're steep, very unlikely we're going to be able to stay down. So we want the club absolutely to shallow, because like we said, if we can get that center of mass pitching behind, you're incentivized then to be able to stay down and turn through the golf ball. So again, doesn't need to be crazy shallow. It can be fairly neutral of a shaft movement, but it's really going to help you to be able to stay down. It's going to be impossible to really properly stay down and hit a good golf shot if we don't do it. So let's get straight to a drill, because the drill will create the feel. Grab an alignment stick. Now, really simple, this one. Everyone can do this nicely. Put it up the left-hand side of the golf club, just like so. Then grip it. So now you're going to be able to see what the shaft angle does. And I want you to get repetitions here. Getting up to the top of the swing, you can stay nice and tall. Have the stick either, again, whatever your top of the backswing structure is, which would preferably ideally be down the line, which would be then the stick pointing away from the target. Or even if it's slightly laid off, the stick will point in front. And then from there, just try and get that feeling of that stick moving in front in that initial part of the downswing. And you can have a little turn through if you want to. Why I like it that simple is because your body will learn to do a shallowing method to be able to achieve that. So for me, what I'm feeling my trail arm driving in a lot more. Actually feeling a little bit of left wrist flexion happen as well. Some players, they might feel more left forearm pronation, which is just that forearm. See the tattoo here, rotating towards the ground, which also shallows the golf club. So whatever, of course, method it is, someone's body will most likely do that with this simple drill. And it's very much practice swing orientated. And it becomes way easier if you grip the club lighter as well. So just where I'm repping out that first move, again, getting that stick to point in front and then turning through. Again, if you want to do that with a golf ball, I'd recommend to do it with a net, because it's quite hard to hit a good shot. But again, we're repping out the movement. I'd pause at the top, then get the stick pointed in front and turning through. Let's do one here. And there we go. So hard one to do. You'll feel it post impact, hit your side, but it's good for guys who early release as well, because then if they, let's say early release, it's going to hit their side before impact. So great one to go do. It gives you a very distinct feel, because once you've done a ton of that, put that away and have that same feeling. Okay, there we go. Really, I love the feeling of just letting the arms just be light and loose at the top. That really allows that center of mass to pitch behind. We don't want to be a player who pulls down the shaft, because that will steepen you up. So light and loose at the top, leave him up there whilst the body pivots, turns into that downswing, nice and tall up to the top. And there we go. Be a great way to practice and getting that staying down motion. So the third key on how to always stay down going through the golf ball is what we're seeing Tiger Woods doing here as an exaggerated drill. So this is what Tiger's doing, is he's extreming his hip flexion. So what is that? You can see him get up to top, with his hand out here. What's he doing? Just like we saw in the first element there, he's staying tall. And then from there, he's pushing his hips back. And pushing those hips back is getting the chest to lower down towards the ground. This is such a key element there, because if you can get that left hip going back, you'll naturally get that chest feeling down. Now, you can go the opposite way with this. You can feel the chest going more down. And for some players, that will get their hips moving back as well. You know, whatever works for you, it will achieve the same goal. But you can see the exaggeration to what Tiger is doing there is very, very extreme. Hip flexion is huge, because if we, let's say, get up to the top of our swing, we've got all the good stuff, staying up taller, we're shallow in the shaft. And if we're not generally trying to do anything, either getting the hips back for hip flexion or flexing the upper body down to get into that flexion, we're still just going to be too tall and we're not really going to stay down through the shot. So that is where, if we can really feel like, okay, I love the sensation, or just the imagination feel of like there's a wall directly behind me, let's say around kind of half a club's distance behind. And I'm trying to hit that with my left hip going into the downswing. So really hitting that with my left hip really gets you into that hip flexion and gets that upper body forcing down, really getting into a good drill for this as well. That target both areas, if you want to think of chest or you want to think of hips. But that's where, conversely, you wanted to, let's say, have a feel for the chest. The feel for the hips is pushing it back onto an imaginary wall. Feeling for the chest is feeling like that chest really goes down on top of the left leg. That's an extreme feel because you wouldn't generally have the chest stacked on top of the downswing like this. But that's just a feeling to get the chest moving lower, which will then get you into this flexed position. And then turning around, one thing that we always hear a lot of top tour players saying, especially if they're trying to hit, let's say, like a squeeze fade shot where you have to stay down on the golf ball to do that, they think of turning down on top of their left leg. Are they actually doing that? No, but it's a feeling to be able to get themselves staying really down. So chest getting closer onto that left leg as they're turning down. Let's do one. I really like that. How well I just struck that ball was really, really good. But that's a good feel. So either chest staying down on top of that left leg, getting close to it as we're turning, or imaginary wall behind us, left hip hitting it as we're moving down. Both achieve the same goal. Both will work for different golfers though. So guys, like I was saying, there are two drills I'm going to give you here. One that is more targeting the hips, one that's more targeting the chest. They'll both get you into that flex position. Just one might work better than the other for other individuals. So that's why we're all different in that feel sense. So let's talk about the hip one first. So classic of the channel, absolutely, you probably would have guessed it. And that is the chair drill with a gap. So chair drill with a gap is great for gaining hip depth. So that's where we've got that distance between half a grip between our hips and the chair here. And our whole goal is to get ourselves getting and hitting that chair with that lead side. So let's do one here. So get in the chair, hitting it, closing in that gap in the downswing with the lead hip. Let's do one. So again, I didn't quite hit the chair there, but if we can see from that slow-mo, I still got into that good hip flexion. So really, really good one to do. Again, because I didn't hit it in that full swing there, what am I going to go do then? I'm going to go do a little slower, maybe half swing, just to rep out that position, see if I can get it. I did there. So again, didn't get it full swing, took that information in, did a half swing, and I got it. And then I'll keep doing it half swing, and that's be isolating the move going through the golf ball, which would be brilliant for you. And then build it up as time goes on. It's the good one to do for the hips. So now for the chest, getting the chest to lower down. Again, grab an alignment stick, put it underneath your right arm. So you're going to physically see now where your chest is pointing. So if I get up to the top here, the lead arm is going to hit the alignment stick at mid backswing. So that's where it's really good for us to complete a good full turn. That's the only way from here for us to get a good full backswing. So if we're more arm dominant without too much turn, we're not going to have that full of a backswing. So it's great to teach people how to turn better at the top, not using the arms. But what we want to do is get this stick pointing down towards the ground as we're turning. So you can see it's pointing down and I'm turning through. That really gives that feeling of chest on top of the left leg. Because in reality, like we said, the chest doesn't get on top of the left leg. It more stays on the middle of the belt buckle as we turn through. But this gives you that exaggerated feel. If we stand up too much, the stick points away and the stick also detaches from the left arm. So keeping that stick pointing down, going through the downswing and through the shot will get you in that flex position with the chest, which can push the hips back as well. It's just a different way to target it. There we go. So very, very good one as well. So that's where getting these into your golf swing is absolutely crucial. Very much, other than of course the shallowing, very much body movement orientated, staying taller and staying down. Most golfers can get those two, where they're staying taller and then moving into hip flexion, doing just what Tiger Woods is doing, what you can see Tiger Woods doing in the thumbnail. Pretty much most of you are going to get this moving because you're then going to start to shallow the shaft on its own just via good body movement. So that's where if you can get the body in there, you're going to be pretty good. If you can shallow the shaft as well, you're going to be staying down, that's for certain. But more than anything, rep these out. Get the repetitions in there. See what one with your golf swing is the one that's lacking. You don't have to do all of them. You just have to see what one isn't great for yourself and then go and work on that quite hard with the drill from this video. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.